Welcome back to season 7 of Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me today are my co-hosts, Matthew Aguilar, with us again, Mr. Evan Valentine, and out there, we shout out to Janelle Wheeler, who is with us, but is trying to get over some technical difficulties. Hence, our little bit late start on the live chat. Sorry about that, chat. We were trying to all work out technical difficulties. My Ethernet's not working. Janelle's camera's not working. So we are out here just trying to get by and make it. I don't even have my blanket off the couch. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Right. We got a lot to do today. Let's talk about it. It's not huge week content, but there were some solid things to talk about. Some kind of surprising things, a lot of surprises that came out in the last week as we start to get to the holiday and awards season period of the year. So we're going to be talking about the new movie Running Man, the remake of Running Man from Edgar Wright. We are going to be talking about Vince Gilligan's new, from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Vince Gilligan's new series, Pluribus, which is out on Apple TV. We have to talk about a couple other TV shows we caught, some reality shows we are glad are back, some trailers. It's a whole thing. But most importantly, this episode is once again sponsored by Global Comics, the digital comic service that gives you access to 100,000 comics for the price of basically one comic. And with your gold member subscription, Global Comics gives you access to all kinds of brand new issues, back issues, treasured collections, graphic novels, the whole 9 yards, comic collectors. And they are now live with both Marvel content, DC content, and all the other publishers that you know and love, from Image to Dark Horse, Boom Studios. They're all up there. So get your gold membership started now on Global Comics. That's Global Comics with an X at the end, all one word. And so you guys know how to use this service and stay in sync with us, the Comic Book Nation that talks about comics. Matt always has a pick of the week. So, Matt, what is your Global Comics pick this week?
Yeah, so there's plenty of new additions this week to the Global Comics Gold program, and one of them, Mad Cave, has a few new additions. And if you're going to be jumping into a Mad Cave series, I personally recommend the Dick Tracy series, the ongoing that is still going. We reviewed the first issue of the series on Comic Book Nation. So if you want to check out that review from probably a few months back, obviously, definitely check that out. But I've been keeping up with it, and I've been supremely enjoying it. It nails that balance between kind of the campy vibes of the property, leans into that nostalgia, but also tells an actual compelling kind of underworld crime story with all of it mixed in, and the artwork, and sometimes it'll hit you over the head with something completely brutal and that you're not expecting, but then you're still in that same era. It gives everything a little bit more stakes than you're probably expecting. Really dig it. I think they kind of nailed that vibe of Dick Tracy. I'm a huge fan of that franchise overall, so definitely check that out. You can check out the whole series up to now on Global Comics Gold. And then more releases from Mad Cave, as well as DC and Marvel, also hitting the service every single week.
All right, Matt, that is Global Comics. Again, that is Global Comics with an X at the end. And did you guys get that? That's Global Comics with an X at the end, because I feel like I dropped there for a second. Be sure to check out the service, start your gold membership, and we will be back with you with another pick next week. All right, let's get into the show. Janelle's here. What's up, Janelle? How are you?
Hi. I just got my workout. Ran up the stairs probably like 7 times. So, yay. I don't know what people do who don't have just 2 computers in their house. Like, they can just switch computers.
I can't answer that. I can't answer those questions. These are things that my life has been long moved away from. So let's get into the geek news up first. So geek news this week. One thing that happened that, kind of just almost slipped through the cracks, but we did catch wind of it this week. We got a kind of pivotal renewal we had been waiting on, and that was Alien Earth Season 2. And, FX has kind of decided to invest in another season of Alien Earth, which could speak to the viewership on streaming and, you know, when people got to kind of binge the whole thing, possibly being, you know, worth the renewal, which is a good sign. The only real note in this report is they're going to be moving production. Production's going from Thailand to London. And we kind of speculate that that means that the set pieces will probably be different in season 2. We'll be probably more in like the cities or the mega cities or whatever is going on here, possibly getting off the island, which I think is key. Yeah, I think that'll be key. So yeah, there's a whole press announcement, but the whole long short of it is we're getting more Alien Earth. Suck it, haters. And so we will be getting more of this story. And I think if we are just going back, you know, just a couple weeks, month so when we were just reviewing the series, yeah, it wasn't a perfect series, but we enjoyed what Noah Hawley had done with it and kind of what he had done with the Alien franchise lore. So I'm thinking, I mean, at least another season is a good thing for just to expand the story a little bit more. Kind of now that we have all the players in places, smaller cast, you know, we're more familiar with the monsters, et cetera, really kind of go kind of more balls to the wall horror this season. But yeah, I think at least one more season is a good idea, and just to tell one more chapter of this story. But that's me. How about you guys?
I think that like I'm very happy that this is being renewed for a second season, because without going into spoilers, it does end on a pretty big like cliffhanger in terms of like, whoa, what's going to happen to these characters sort of thing. And we remain in this golden renaissance for Alien and Predator stuff. And so I'm anxious. I think like Alien Earth wasn't perfect, but it was a very strong showing for like the Alien universe's first time trying out a TV show. So like I'm anxious to see where they continue to move through this while introducing like a lot of interesting new concepts to the franchise. I'm down for it.
Matt, Janelle, you guys are kind of in the middle on this. You guys
I'm
ready for another?
Stoked. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about them taking it out of the island. I thought it served its purpose and it was really, really cool. But it's time to make the alien threat bigger, and I guess the AI threat, depending on which way they choose. I'm really excited to kind of see how it affects more than just our little bubble here, like once it's not contained anymore, because I was getting a little fatigued with that story, like with this being stuck on the island. Like I was kind of like, okay, I get it. Like these two companies hate each other, and like, you know, he's trying to get his alien back, and the alien, you know, I figured it out quickly. So for me, like the ending of this season, like the last episode didn't really hit as hard as the whole rest of the season. And I'm very pumped to see where we're going to go from here.
No, I mean, it was also clearly that it was just kind of a balance issue in the first season. Like episodes 1, 2, and 5 were all like mini Alien movies, right?
Yeah.
So like you had these huge set pieces and expectations, and then the rest of the episodes are kind of circular and in on the island, and you're like, okay. But they obviously had money enough for 3 big, huge set pieces and movie style things, and then they had to kind of make do with the rest. But I would like to see more of a balanced TV show kind of feel to it. So that's it. Matt, you can talk about this darkness, or you could take us to our next topic, which is probably a little bit lighter and a little bit more up your alley.
Yeah, I will say I was with Janelle on the finale of this, and so, but I think season 2 being greenlit makes the finale that much better, because we have all this awesome setup that we're now going to be able to capitalize on. And so that makes the finale inherently better, because we'll get more. So I'm stoked for that. But I'm also stoked for Toy Story 5. This is the franchise that just keeps finding new ways, and never a cash grab. Toy Story 4 had me in my feelings. I adore that movie. And Toy Story 5, the premise was, hey, we're going to be dealing with this kind of analog toys and how they handle this technology era that we're in, where everything is through tablets and screens and all this, and we were going to get that. And the first teaser trailer, this really is a teaser trailer. We just get a look at Lily Pad, which is the brand new electronic tablet that Bonnie gets, and everyone can like not help themselves, and they all have these over the top reactions. It's great. But obviously this is going to be a big part of the contention of the film, is that, well, how do these toys deal with that? Also, we also know that like not all the toys are in the same place, because at the end of Toy Story 4, things are split up in a big way. Woody's not there, all these other things. So how do we get the gang back together, number one? And number two, then how do we deal with the fact that, okay, well, now we're in a real new era. It's not just a shiny new toy, but ultimately, you know, Buzz Lightyear is still an action figure. Even though he wasn't Woody, he was still an action figure. He was just kind of a really enhanced, and he had all these cool things that Woody couldn't do. Now Buzz looks antiquated compared to what the tablet can do. So I'm really excited to see what we do here. I have all the faith in Pixar. Cannot wait for this. And this comes out in, is it June 2026? Yep. So excited for that.
Yeah. I'm gonna be here, and I'm like, this is the first movie I'm shoving my kids down the hall and be like, sit your butts down, and you're gonna watch this like right now. Because this is, I think, me and a lot of other parents, if you have kids who are 6 to anywhere to like 13, in that range, like this is your problem that you are dealing with in life. Like I'm in this depressing place where I'm still like weeks overdue to go downstairs and like clean out my garage. And clean out both my kids' rooms and start like converting them to their older years and doing all this. And there's just going to be a ton of toys that I just pull out, stuff that was bought for them, all this stuff that has just sat around my house and never gotten used and never gotten played with, because the two biggest things that these kids focus on are iPads, you know what I mean? Or a TV or something like that, or a Switch, which, you know, not hating on these things. I can't hate on this, you know, for very personal reasons. Like my daughter, for instance, wouldn't have the access or the educational progress she had if she wasn't able to do things through a screen. And it's a complicated thing, but there is a story to be told here that I am going to feel about, because I didn't know how much I felt it about the thing, like the tactile thing, like this. My son was spiraling out this Halloween, for instance, because of his costume. He couldn't decide. Now he's beginning to have, he's 7. So he now has social awareness. He doesn't want to look stupid. He's really worrying about these things. And, you know, my wife's trying to help him because she's, you know, a wife and an Amazon addict, like most wives these days, and can get stuff off of Amazon. And, you know, but she's trying to do this with him and he's freaking out about it. So we're on vacation in, you know, Atlanta. Hey, shout out to Atlanta. I saw Evan. But where we were staying across, there's this big strip mall that Drake and a bunch of other rappers used to take all their girls to. And they had a Spirit Halloween in there. And so you guys laugh, but Offset cut me off in an aquarium line. So like this was like a real thing. You know, I got cut off by Offset in the aquarium line. Shout out to Offset. I was just trying to take my family to the aquarium. Wow. So we went to the Spirit Halloween, and because I demanded, I was like, look, because he and my wife were on the phone, they were arguing. I'm like, get up, we're gonna go to this mall. You're gonna go to a Spirit Halloween, and we're gonna go figure this out. And it blew this kid's mind when I took him into Spirit Halloween. He saw people, he saw the costumes, he saw it all in this very real, tactile sense. Just seeing people run around the store, pick up things, try on things, masks, all the different stuff. And for him, it was like I could see the lights go on in his head. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, buddy, this is a store. Like, this is where you can go and like see the stuff. And actually, but you don't think about,
you don't realize. Yeah, I hate shopping. I never ever go shopping, especially
neither do I. I hated
kid.
stores. I hated stores, but like now I'm like, but you have to like take him and be like, you need to physically see this stuff. You have to touch this stuff. You gotta play with it. You gotta see people,
Toys R Us was
community, and their excitement. Like you just trying to order this off a screen, and because I haven't seen how much disappointment comes through. Like when they see something on a screen and their imagination goes, and then the little box comes, and then it's like a tiny little thing in the Amazon box. Like that disappointment is real in a kid. Like I've seen it. And so like, yeah, going to a store, physical toys, physical playing, all this stuff it's a battle we're fighting like right now, but it's so important because letting these kids just get into their heads, have all these imaginatory things, these delusional things that are not even matched to real tactile experiences is like a real problem. So this movie could be very timely. And yeah, I'm here. They have my money. This for me, I'm going to be sitting there like the Spider-Man meme, just like this, you know, like just like watching every minute of this because I think, oh no, he goes to arcades all the time. Bubble Black in the comments. No, he goes to arcades. Like he loves that. Like, yeah, I take him to like little game centers, all that stuff, ping pong, all that. Anything tactile I can get these kids to do like is a miracle. So anyway, this turned into a very personal therapy session. But what I want to say is, I think people were saying in the chat, I think this is going to be the first Toy Story in a while that pulls back out. Because for me, what happened was Toy Story began to start eating its own tail. It was about Toy Story. And so it was about the toys themselves and their lives. We started like really attaching to them like they had lives. But I think this one's kind of that reset from the first one where it's actually talking about the world and the place of toys and childhood experience and like what that means. And like, how do you, if you don't get the first movie, the joke of the first movie is that Sid is a psychopath because he doesn't have toys. He destroys his toys, right? He doesn't have normal play patterns and things like that. And he's a psychopath, right? He's a little serial killer in the making. That's the kind of little joke about that first movie. It's about the importance of play and imagination, learning to value your toys and what that means, and like all of that stuff you need to make you a good person, like essentially. So I think this movie can get back to that and getting back to the actual thematic, real core of Toy Story, which is why are these things so important to us, to our childhood, and what does childhood mean into how we progress into adulthood, like, and all that stuff. So this has been your free ad for Toy Story 5. We are not a Disney subsidiary, but yeah. Anyway.
Expect 4 reviews to go in line with F1. We're going to keep the tradition going.
No, I mean, it's Toy Story 5.
That's
so you're going to get 5 reviews.
I mean, I feel like I can move on to the next thing. You kind of did everything.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I ate that one up. I'm so sorry. I have a lot of parenting things going on.
It's amazing. I love it. And I feel like you broke my heart a little bit.
I'm going to mute. Janelle, take the whole next thing, please.
Okay. So I think that Toy Story 5 might outshine this next one. This is Super Mario Galaxy that we're chatting about. And I can't believe I'm saying that. But what in the heck is going on in this trailer? And this is not me reading other people's reactions, because I usually kind of like am swayed by other people's reactions to things like this, especially you guys. So I'm glad I'm going first. I don't know anyone who is a bigger Super Mario fan than myself, truly. And I'm so, I think it's funny. Like I giggled with the Bowser moment where he's tiny, but I don't know what in Sam Hill is happening. There is just a lot, like Bowser's tiny, but he's like friends with Mario and Luigi. Somehow like the star sprites come down out of the sky. And then all of a sudden we're shooting through like the transportation, like stars out of nowhere. Like, I guess he's still obsessed with Peach, but that's not the center. And then we get Bowser Jr., which to me is the best part of this entire trailer. Bowser Jr. is so badass. Oh God, can I say that? So badass. And then Rosalina's in there, and I'm just like, there's a lot happening and not giving me any sort of story besides that Bowser Jr. is pissed off and wants his dad back, which I'm sure that Mario and Luigi, since they're buddies now, would be like, okay, man, you can have him back. He's your dad. I'm so confused about this.
What are you confused of? How? But like the first movie ends with them capturing and shrinking Bowser, and he's just stuck with them. Yeah, so he's just their prisoner.
Like now he's friends and he's working on his.
Oh, Mario! Whoa! Let's properly dissect this trailer. Mario does not mess with Bowser at all in this trailer. It's more Luigi.
Yeah, Mario's kind of sure.
Yeah, Mario's
trying to live his life through painting. Yeah, it's unfair that Mario can be kind of a dick and then Bowser like gets defensive and then it's Bowser's fault. Like, I'm sorry.
Is
No, I think
Bowser being
Bowser's trying to
gaslit?
play them. Yeah, no, I think Bowser's trying to play them because like he's trying to act
I'm
like he's
sure.
rehabilitated, and
Yeah,
then he flips out in that part because they trigger him, and then he's just like, yeah.
totally.
Now
No, you're
after that
totally right.
introductory
But
scene, I don't know what the hell happens because I don't care about these games and never played any of them. So like,
oh my
You
god.
never
Okay,
played
so
Super
Super
Mario
Mario
Galaxy?
Galaxy is like stunning. Like it is such a
I was
banger.
partying and kissing girls by then, guys. I'm
Good.
sorry. I was
You
doing
that
stuff.
heck
Like,
yes.
yeah.
But
No, I
it
wasn't
is-
playing Super
You
Mario
can walk and
Galaxy.
chew gum. You can do both.
It's so
That's fair.
good though.
Fair. That is fair. That is my motto.
Hilarious.
You got me.
I get it. Like, especially because like a lot of
We got
guys were like, they were on the like Halo side of things. They switched over from Nintendo. I get it.
Yeah, we
no
were doing
hate at all.
headshots, Call of Duty.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
it
But
was nuts.
Mario
I was
is
obsessed with Mario I carried it through college. Like I was that girl. And as someone who loves Mario, I'm just nervous because after seeing like Toy Story and that trailer and how much it hit and it like pulled at my heartstrings, it made me really interested and it made me care about the characters. This trailer didn't do that. So I feel like watching them together was not good for me. I think if I watched it on my own, I would have been like, oh my God, this is
I
awesome.
can see that.
But yeah,
I-
but this just feels
yeah.
like a lot of scenes just kind of thrown together. It's like
Oh,
eye
that is-
I will
candy.
say.
Oh yeah, this is a messy trailer. I'm not going
It's
to disagree with
messy.
you there.
Very good.
I'm also
Very
going to
good
say
way
you
to
made
put
me realize something in your speech, which is to just take a minute and say, shout out to all the Switch bros out there. I never really
Yeah.
recognized your game, but I now see what you guys were up to, and I see what you were doing. And shout out to y'all, man. I see y'all now. Like, good, shout out to all you Switch bros. You guys are sneaky. I see what you were doing. We were all acting all broed out, screaming about Call of Duty or Rock Band, and you were just in the bar, like with some girl, like, yo, you play Mario Kart? Oh, or you play Mario Galaxy? How many stars you got? I see you, Switch bros. Good for you. Good for you. Shout out to Switch bros. All right.
I just love that Bowser painted himself with so many abs, which is amazing. Also, I will say for me, the shining star of this is Rosalina.
Yeah,
because
I was gonna
number
say, oh my god,
Brie
I
Larson.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you
Brie
were gonna
Larson
come in with
making
this
her
energy.
Nintendo debut here because
As
she
soon
has
as
been
I
a
saw the
Nintendo
trailer.
fangirl forever, and she's now like finally in a Nintendo movie, which is amazing. But also, Rosalina just looks badass. Like that whole sequence,
Yeah,
ruled.
that's
And
one
I'm
of the more
like,
badass
that's
sequences
just
I've seen.
it's
Brie
so
Larson's getting her.
cool.
I mean,
Brie
they're
Larson's
gonna
getting her
make it
lick
make
back.
sense. It's gonna be good. I just don't love this trailer, really, more than anything.
It's a weak trailer. I'll be the first to say it. They should have picked one focused thing to
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah.
Like them just chilling, like Mario and Peach getting sweet, and then all of a sudden the stars come, and then what's this problem? Because that's an easy thing to hitch onto. Like,
Mhm.
will they? Won't they? Oops! Here's another thing, and here's another awesome girl. That's a kind of thing we can all hitch on to. This is just everything thrown at the wall. It's like, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. I agree.
Yeah, but still pumped. I'm still so happy it's being made. Overall, Evan, how do you feel?
I'm just waiting for Wario and Waluigi to show up. Honestly, I want a movie. I'm sure that'll be in the third one or something.
I need
I would
King
imagine the
Boo.
post-credit scene might hint at them, but I want them to have an origin story because they have never. We don't know where they come from. Even decades later, just cast Danny DeVito and let's get the It's Always Sunny cast completely into the Mario movies with Charlie Day as Luigi.
No, do a twins reunion. Get Schwarzenegger and DeVito to do it. And just
oh man, yeah, Schwarzenegger as Waluigi. That'd
be great.
But yeah,
have him do the
ultimately,
Brad
I think
Pitt, like trying to do an Italian accent.
Yeah, I need that to happen now. That's like a real thing. I need that to happen.
I mean, the first Mario movie, I was kind of lukewarm on. I thought it was good in terms of but it's a Mario movie, so like it did its job, and then it went out. So like them going bigger and like going with Galaxy makes a lot of sense. I think like expanding on the universe literally really works here, but also like the introduction of surprisingly Yoshi didn't show up in this trailer. I was kind of thinking that would be one of the big, like, who on earth will they cast to be Yoshi, considering he just says his own name? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't talk. But yeah, it's like we'll see. I think that like as long as this movie has a Peaches sequel song, I think I'm down for it.
Cool. Well,
All right.
we did the
I
thing.
mean, I'm surprised nobody said anything. The first thing that I actually thought of, which is, you know, as they said in the chat, we're getting this before a Spider-Verse movie, and my takeaway from that was,
Wow,
that's kind of
unfair.
messed up, because I feel like I look at this and then I'm looking at Spider-Verse. My takeaway was, we really might be, nobody's saying it, but we really might be in the point where AI is cranking out these movies a lot faster.
Oh
Like,
no! Oh no!
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Oh no! Oh yeah!
oh yeah. But like, I think they're cranking out these movies. I think AI is helping them
Mm-hmm.
get the speed up, because if you already have the computer files for all the character animations and all that, I'm really wondering how this movie is coming this fast,
Yeah.
and you know what they might not be telling us behind the scenes.
Really
of
good
production.
point.
Because I think
I hope
Spider-Verse,
not.
they have to hand draw a lot of that, like that stuff. They're hand drawing all those animation styles.
Yeah, Illumination though has a pretty stellar record as far as like their ability to go from point A to point B and release. I mean, they have a system in place.
I
don't know if it's. I would not. I hope it's not AI.
There's definitely, I'm looking at this and I'm telling you right now, there is definitely, if not, it's not the primary driving force, a lot of the background work and force is probably being sped up through AI at this point. And like, it's insane to think it's not. Like, there's so many steps. And I don't think that's cheating. I think this is where you want to apply this stuff, right? If we can make a cartoon movie and it's not taking away the human steps or the voice acting, we're just speeding up the animation process in the process of getting these animated pictures moving, like, I don't think that's cheating. I think that's where you want to be applying this stuff. Like, yeah, if we could get more seasons of animation faster, like, cool. That's where you want it. Like, that's where we want to put that stuff. Like,
well, I mean, look, right?
They just released. Yeah.
They just announced the release date for K-pop Demon Hunters 2, right? And it's 2029. Because of that, the speed. That's the length, right, of time. If I could shorten that by 2 years and go, well, let's do this and tighten this up a little bit and just put AI over here. And here's my thing, though. You did mention the big critical point there, which is like not removing the human part of that and taking away those jobs. And that's the part where it gets super dicey. And that's the part where it's like, you know, obviously that I don't want that to happen. But yeah, if you can implement it in ways that does speed up that timeline, I mean, I would take that 2 years. You cut 2 years, a year worth of time off of something, and we get it quicker. Yeah.
Yeah, some poor coder sitting there doing that, as opposed to just going to being like, I want you to take this scene of Mario and here's what I want it to look like. And then just sitting back and maybe having to go run that like 30 times before the computer kind of really gets it to a place where you're like, okay, or even gets it 75% or 80% of the way. And you're like, all right, we'll tweak the rest. Like, the team will tweak the rest. Like, that's a big thing. But, I mean, in case not to be derailing us, but like, guys, some of these songs and the artists you're hearing now are not people. Like, we're there already.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
I blame Timbaland.
Chart-topping things that are not humans anymore.
Don't get me started either.
Yeah. So, all right.
Not out of the music game at the right time, apparently.
My kids are already in. Nintendo's I think they're also, the other story is like Nintendo just coming out of nowhere and just becoming this big kind of movie production studio house.
It took them forever,
but they doing it.
But when they did it, they did it right, you know.
Yeah. So, all right, Evan, we got one more trailer to kind of get through.
Speaking of video game adaptations, let's talk about the best one. Fallout Season 2 has released a new trailer. It's coming out on December 17th. This, of course, Fallout's second season is going to focus. Oh man, I love this. I love ghouls. Fallout's second season, of course, is going to focus on one of the most important chapters of the Fallout video game series, which is Fallout New Vegas. I think everybody has a good argument to be made when it comes to what's the best Fallout game between 3 and New Vegas. I lean a little more towards 3, but I know that there's like an argument to be made about New Vegas in general. Fallout's, I don't know how everybody else feels, but like Fallout's first season for me was really, like I mentioned it earlier, but it was really one of the best video game adaptations. I remember watching that. I remember watching that first season, and then I had a buddy of mine, because we had all gotten together for a big D&D thing that we had in New Orleans, and I showed him the first episode of the Fallout's first season, and me and a bunch of our friends just binged the whole thing again, and I had no problem immediately rewatching that first season, which like I don't do for a lot of shows in general, but Amazon really has, like, they really have the goods with this series. I think that first season did a fantastic job of staying true to what worked so well in the first with Fallout in general. It was seamless in terms of creating a story that you could see happening in this universe at the same time as you, the player, was being a part of everything. But yeah, I am so hyped. This is one of my most anticipated things of 2025. I am looking forward to kind of watching this in general. But yeah, how does everybody else think? How does everybody else feel about this second?
Camille Nanjiani, let's go. I'm so excited.
Yeah, also Macaulay Culkin, hey!
Macaulay Culkin, dude, this show, man,
Yeah.
I was just, honestly, I was waiting for this. Ever since it ended, I'm just like, I'm sad. Like, I miss it so much. I suck at shooters. Like, I cannot play them. Like, I'm the person that's trying to shoot and I go like up into the sky. But like, I loved the show so much that I'm like, maybe I'll just try playing Fallout because I loved it so much. This got in my brain. Like, I dreamt about this show. Granted, I also dreamt about the video game. I've watched the playthrough so many times on Twitch. It's probably my most watched playthrough game. I also like had a boyfriend when it first released and I watched him play it. And I just like this. I agree. I think this is one of the very, very best adaptations of a video game I've ever seen. And I am so excited. So excited. Like, you've said all the good stuff. Heck yes. Pumped.
All right. Well, that's Fallout Season 2. That's going to be coming up. I'm already in. We're all in. Like, who's not going to be watching this stuff? This was great. All right. Let's take a quick break. Then we're going to come back and talk about what's in theaters, what's on TV screen, what's in comics. And Matt has a big agenda to get off today. Okay, so Vince Gillian is back after his runs of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He took his Better Call Saul lead actress, Rhea Seehorn, put her in her own show, smartest move I've seen in a long time, and we got Pluribus. So I don't watch trailers anymore, but, you know, it's Vince Gillian, it's Apple TV. It was Rhea Seehorn. I was like, okay, you know, easy thing for me to check out. And this show has been wrapped in mystery, and I can see why now. And I think it was a very good way to approach this show. Pluribus is about a woman named Carol, who's a writer of romance novels. She's a cynical, kind of drinking writer, me. So she is one of a handful of people who are immune to this kind of coded virus thing that makes everybody in the world into one kind of utopian hive mind. And so Carol is not part of that, and she's trying to fix the world. And that's where the show starts, or the premise you get, but very different when you turn on the show and begin to watch it. One of the best pilot episodes I think I've seen in a long, long time. Really intense, kind of surprisingly frightening. I thought this was going to be more of like a funny, happy-go-lucky show, but that pilot was really intense, and really well done. Yeah, I don't want to say, it's so hard to talk because I don't want to say too much, but what gets done in these first 2 episodes and the stakes they set up and where it places Carol this is some of the better sci-fi I've seen in a long time. And it's done in the way that you do with this quirky kind of New Mexican flair of Vince Gillian. But I'm loving this show. But how are you guys? I know Evan was going to do this on his own, but start with Janelle. What did you think about this?
Yeah, you guys go ahead.
Oh my God. I have a new favorite show that I've never seen Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. This is I know. I just never, I wasn't into, I was kissing guys. I'm just kidding. I legit.
Oh, wow. That was
kidding.
Okay.
I'm
all
so
right.
kidding. They would have liked me to watch this. It didn't intrigue me, the like drug aspect. I like more of the sci-fi and like fantasy stuff. So the fact that like I didn't watch any trailers either, I had no idea what I was getting into. And the fact that we're getting this like post-apocalyptic sci-fi, again, no idea what this is about. And it's hitting that. I've heard, because I was so into this, I watched people's reactions to the show after I watched it. And I've heard that obviously like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad were not like this. They weren't post-apocalyptic. They weren't fantasy of any kind or like spacey, timey-wimey or anything like that. And so I'm just in awe of the directing, like the script, like the concept. Everything is so exciting for me because it's my first take with this guy, but also it's just so good. And I love our main character, and this is addictive. I don't want to say too much either, but I almost wish that this was just a binge drop, because I'm so into this. Oh my God. I'm so into, like, I can't wait. This week is amazing. I wanted to watch Christmas movies this week and get into the spirit. No. There's way too much awesome stuff on. And like, if you don't have Apple, like do a trial for it. I would say I love this just as much as, oh my God, help me, the soccer one on Apple.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, obviously totally different, but like, oh my gosh, Apple, you are crushing it. And they're getting F1 next year too, like the actual sport. So Apple is like must have subscription.
We can do another review of F1 then.
Yeah, no, like not the movie, like the actual sport. They're getting the whole
but
sport, which is so
we can
crazy.
add another list. We gotta.
I mean, I could do it every week. I could sit here and be obnoxious and talk crap about every driver.
If we're hyping up Apple shows as well, and I'll use that as a transition into my thoughts on Pluribus, but like also everybody check out Slow Horses, amazing. Check out Silo, amazing. Check out
chill. Apple TV does not pay us, guys. Chill.
Monarch Legacy of Monsters, a Godzilla show. But
Sophie loves Silo.
Oh, Silo was really
Silo
great.
did pay us, guys. Promote that all you want. Silo did pay us.
But yeah, I went into Pluribus completely blind, which is not like for insider baseball. For I would say like everybody here, kind of like there's so much that we just have to get spoiled for us in our jobs in order to know like what we're writing about, what we're talking about, and everything. But I completely like avoided trailers for Pluribus. I didn't know anything outside of it was Vince Gillian making it, and that it was going to be a sci-fi show. And that's all I knew going into it. So like I went in completely blind. And the ways, I think, like, number one, this has a really strong hook. Yes, there was that episode of Rick and Morty that a lot of people are talking about with Unity and everything. But this series does such a good job of like kind of taking that idea and running with it in a lot of various ways of like, you know, the current state of humanity and whether or not this is a good thing. And is this scary? It's like there's the argument to be made that this is a really scary thing, but there's also the argument to be made that, hey, maybe stuff really is better because of like humanity merging into one consciousness or what have you. But like Janelle said, yeah, I kind of wish this had all released at once because this is kind of like I could totally see myself just binging this in its entirety over a weekend. But I'm anxious to
hard disagree. Yeah,
interesting concepts and kind of running with it. But yeah,
no, did I cut out or did Evan cut out?
You cut out.
Stop talking.
Oh, you cut out. Oh yeah, you. I'm leaving it open to the floor. Matt, Kofi, what do you guys think?
Tell us.
No, I was saying hard disagree because I think this is a show that sparks theories and sparks conversation. I think the most interesting thing about episode 2 is how quickly they deepen the concept of what's happening and how they use a literal dinner party and conversation to do all of the what ifs that your brain would naturally kind of do. Like there's the scene with the mother who's still immune to it, but she's keeping her, her son and her family. And Carol in like 5 seconds demonstrates to her that her son is not still just her son as she wants to believe it because, he can answer gynecologist questions and he's like a 7-year-old boy because he's part of the hive mind. And so she's like, that's not your son, like this concept. Is this my family still? Is it not? It's the same thing. It's a zombie movie, but what if the zombies could be looked at in a good way, right? And that's not what Rick and Morty did with Unity. That was a whole thing about Rick. And
I had to bring it up. Everybody's bringing it up.
Yeah, I know. No, I've seen the argument, but I think I hate, as a writing and literature major, I hate lack of kind of comprehension and reading and now watching. Like that's not at all what that story about Unity was about. It's about Rick and his inability to connect. That was about one person. This is about that, but in a much different context. It's like, it's basically asking, is human independence worth the possible toxicity that comes with it versus, true human unity, but the loss of identity? And it's not giving you an easy answer, or preaching to you, which is good sci-fi. It's making you sit there and be like, whoa, that's a mind screw. Like, I don't know. Like, how would I feel? Like, what would I do? And so, yeah, in episode 2, seeing other humans come together who have dealt with this completely differently than Carol and making her realize, like, yeah, we're not all a monolith. Like, not all of us are going to react to this the same. Not every human being is going to treat it the same. Some people are going to be scummy with it. Some people are going to be like me. Some people are going to be just, some people just can't process and are going to go along with it and just delude themselves. And so, yeah, human individuality is not a monolith. And so how do you deal with that? Like, these are all questions we've had in 2 episodes. So I like that we can debate about this. This is a thing I can see on the Reddits, on the forums, on the chat threads with people having those crazy big posts with the thoughts and the views and, oh, look at this. It reminds me of, so I'm glad this is a weekly. Also, I think the most crazy thing is I'm thinking about it and like, Janelle, you were a Walking Dead head. So like you were on AMC the whole time. And
I know, it's so crazy.
Bed. Also, it is crazy to me. You might be the first Florida girl I've ever met to say, I am not interested in something about meth. Like, that's nuts. So, you thought my guns were gone. Yeah, no. We just wait. We come back around. But yeah, no. This is a show that I think is like one of those. I mean, Apple's got Severance, it's got Silo, and now it's got this. Like, this sci-fi stuff that Apple's doing is nuts, and even Monarch. So, I said this isn't an ad for Apple. But yeah, this is. I'm also happy this is here, and I'm glad we get to talk about it every week, because I think this is going to be a show where there are going to be twists and twists and twists, where every week we might come back being like, holy crap, like, oh my God, no, I never, so anyway, go watch it. Pluribus, Vince Gillian. Welcome to Derry, another show that I'm just like, I can't believe they've pulled this off with it. Like, they keep sucking me in, and like every week I'm like, I started up, I'm like, I'm not gonna care. And then it's like, oh, Shawshank, oh, this, oh, that, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. And yeah, these sequences that they put in the show, Andy Muschietti is nuts, but like the sequences alone are a reason to tune in every week just to see. Like, I never thought like Dream Monster Sequence of the Week would be a thing, but it kind of is. Like, it's like, what nuts vision are we going to get this week? And they're all freaky. And so, man, whoever the new boss is at HBO, good for you. Good for you for remembering what HBO is supposed to be, which is like every Sunday night. We like, all right, we firing it up. And, you know, they've had us, man, from Penguin through like Task, through this and some, I can't even remember what was in between Penguin. Like, oh, what do we get? Anyway, so good for HBO. I'm digging this still.
House of the Dragon, right?
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon, yeah. I can't remember what's happened. It's just too much has happened.
Look at me. I knew a Game of Thrones thing, kind of, sort of.
Good job, Matt.
But yeah, I'm really wondering if they're gonna, this is more to Evan, but this episode had me wondering, are they gonna really do what the movies didn't do and do the whole, like the Native Americans and the ceiling and the all of that stuff they kind of cut out of the movies? Like, that's gonna be nuts.
I think one of the coolest, I think, like one of my biggest caveats when I heard that they were making an It TV series that was going to like take place before the events of the recent movies was the idea of like, oh, it's just going to be a group of kids again, and it's like, oh, but it takes place in the, you know, in this time period, and that's going to be the main difference. So the idea that they're like, honestly, like all of the military stuff and like you know, Hollering and everything, and all of, as Kofi, as you said, like the Shawshank stuff, all of that has been really like compelling, and it works as kind of a good way to balance out between the kid stuff that's like still there, and that's still kind of interesting. But the idea of like having like all these military aspects, and the idea of like taking it from a more adult approach in that respect, where people realize that, you know, Pennywise is doing this kind of stuff, and there's a viability for him as a government weapon, perhaps, maybe. I think that's really interesting, and even like the general's backstory and everything. That's kind of interesting as well. I'm looking forward to the idea of like, you know, further exploring the Native American ties and everything. Shockingly enough, we will talk about the Stephen King universe when we talk about Running Man a little later, which I was really surprised about when I saw that movie. But ultimately, like, I feel like this has kind of had the where I was kind of lukewarm on that first episode of Welcome to Derry. It's kind of been improving with each episode, you know, so far. So yeah, I'm super on board with this, and I think it's kind of reeling me in more and more with each one.
Speaking to the chat, if you want to see Chris Chalk, the guy who plays Dick Halloran in this, in why HBO probably tapped him, go back and watch the seriously underrated Perry Mason reboot in which he was a part of.
Yeah.
So yeah. Janelle, how you
man.
liking? We know you like a good clown.
I mean, I still am really into this, but I am just so I think it's like my ADHD or something. I get really wrapped up in whatever I'm currently obsessing over. So now I'm no longer obsessing over this. I still am very much into it, but I am ready to get more into like a holiday spirit. So I wish this would have released earlier on, like in August or something, so that it could have been hitting like really hard around Halloween. But overall, it's awesome.
All right. I hear you're little man. You want to give us some
I have
quick
a crying child, which is perfect.
Yo,
for
you want to give us some
show.
quick thoughts on Squid Game, the challenge, before you get out of here? Because
no, you're good. He's with Dad. I'm hanging.
Okay.
I'm chilling. We're here. But I will tell you about challenge. Evan hit up our group chat and was like beefing with this, and it about made me fall out of my chair.
Let's go.
I'm so
grenade
confused.
time.
Dude, this season, I mean, I don't even remember the first season. Let me say, It's a
You don't
game
have to.
show, so it's not like
It's
super memorable. It's just something you enjoy in the moment, right? So like I don't even remember the first season. I don't even remember who won, but I enjoyed it. This season is hitting so hard for me. I have been like on the edge of my seat. I stayed up all night last night trying to get through these episodes. It's not even about like the people they're highlighting, and I don't really care who wins, but the stakes feel so high in this one. Like I'm my heart is racing and I'm going, oh my God, are they gonna get that? Like if I watch this like football, like I'm like on the edge of my seat, like getting really excited watching this. And I don't know if they like casted it better. I feel like there's more drama or more people like to hate. Like there's people I genuinely like do not like on this show. I feel like last season there was no one I hated. I wanted anyone to win because it was cool. Now I'm like, oh my God, if that cop guy wins, I'm gonna be pissed.
There was like 4 people I hated in the first episode.
Yeah, yeah.
To producer Rich's point,
cook on it a little bit.
Producer Rich is in the chat, and he's as a producer, I think he's correct that you can tell they got like an upgraded production team for this season.
It's gorgeous.
I'm somewhere in between you guys and Evan because I'm enjoying it because I love trash reality shows, especially on Netflix. But I can tell this season is way more dramatic and overproduced. They make throwing tennis balls to each other like into this most dramatic thing in the world. Music. I know. They're like, will he catch this tennis ball that's right in front of him? And it's like, dun, 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 dun.
But then what happens is he drops it. And then you're like, no! And then the things explode.
No, I'm loving it, but it is so produced. It is hilarious. But because they have the core concept down, I think the first season they were just sweating over how do we take Squid Game and make it into a game show. I think they nailed that down, and now it's just more about the human drama, the stories, the camera angles, the music, like making it all very dramatic. And getting it
because now the game show is better than the main show. So
yeah, I mean,
it's not even close, dude.
Yeah,
I will take the first 2 episodes of this over the entirety of season 3.
Oh no, season 3 was good. Season 2 was where I would, because I was worried when this started that they were going to try to do like season 2 and be like, okay, now the guards have a storyline or something like that, and I was just like, oh boy, don't
give me dude and watching his daughter compete in the thing, waiting to see if she joins the group and she survives. Give me dude trying to plan a Star Wars wedding and like almost being eliminated, and they're like, nah, he's too nice. Give me all that every so day over trash lead hero guy who needed to die in the first season.
Like,
oh my God, what terrible.
Now this is a good reality show, and it's a good way for Squid Game to keep going. Evan, we've said a lot. We set you up. Go ahead.
I hate this show. I hate the concept of this show. I think it's counterintuitive to the message of Squid. It's counterintuitive to the message of Squid Game overall. I hate that it exists. Message? The message that capitalism is bad. I mean, really, like that's the whole message of the original.
Write that on a napkin.
The first season of Squid Game is effectively a giant, hey, the poor are being pitted against one another at the behest of the rich and the wealthy in the world. This feels like a grotesque monstrosity. Like, and to be fair, I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it because I kind of protest it. But I just find it so twisted and monstrous at the fact that they have squibs in their shirt. I can't get over it. It's so weird and horrible. The idea of like simulating them dying, like it's really like, yeah, Squid Game season 2 and 3 were pretty bad for me. I thought that those like were unnecessary. I thought that everything that Squid Game needed to say was like said perfectly in Rich, I have not watched it. I'm protesting it. I thought that like the first season of Squid Game kind of had this perfect message and like the characters. And yes, I love Thanos the Rapper from season 2. How can you not love a dude who's just like, I have the Infinity Stones through broken English? Come on, man. But ultimately, like, it's just kind of so counterintuitive to the message of the original Squid Game. The idea of like
Whoa.
Netflix creating a reality show and a mobile game and like and even sequel seasons to the first season. It's not for me, man. It's not it's not. I'm
Look.
just like, it seems like it kind of lessens the impact of the original Squid Game series and that pinnacle first season. And like, why they gotta have squibs, man? Why they gotta have
That's
squibs?
You know what's
I
most
can't
impressive
believe
though?
it. It's
Is
so,
that they
I just
all
watched it.
stay silent on the ground for so long as those camera shots hit.
Oh, they
Like,
probably had a whole training class for it. Yeah.
There's
definitely
like
did.
they have to stay completely still to like be dead. And I'm always amazed that like no one moves.
Why?
It's impressive.
They've had to
It's
do a whole
impressive.
training class and sign a whole bunch of stuff. It's probably like Disney World. Like, you cannot break the reality of this because it's not, the squibs are not for the just viewing audience. It's to mess with the other players. It's to kind of like shake up the other players. Look, I agreed with you because we had this discussion, this exact
Yep.
discussion when this first season of this show came out. The thing we said is we enjoyed it, but we're guilty for enjoying it because we feel like we are perpetuating, you know, exactly what you said, what Squid Game was saying not to do. However, I think you are skipping over and shooting the world a whole lot of bail because what happened was, yeah, Squid Game became an obsession. That's what Squid Game season 2. That's why Squid Game season 2 and 3 are so messed up because the creator of Squid Game, it's Joker 2, basically. The creator of Squid Game is horrified that all of you have turned Squid Game into this big thing because the whole thing was, yeah, we shouldn't be glorifying people dying and making this entertainment and doing all this. But we all watched it and we're like, fall, die, yeah, give us another season. And so, like, we kind of just didn't live up to those ideals. And so, like, yeah, at this point, the world is so, I mean, what we're seeing in the world today, like, I don't have the idealistic hopes that people getting offered money are going to do noble things. So I'm going to watch them do the terrible things to each other. So I'm going to watch this now. And I don't feel any guilt in my heart any longer because I don't believe in this like betterment of people. Like, I think we're just at a certain point in capitalism where people are like, shut up. You go stand over there while I go get this money. Yeah, I don't care. Give me the $2,000 in the envelope. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap if everything else is wrong. I'll take my $2,000. Like, yeah, I think there's a lot more of that. So at this point, and it's also self-awareness. In the second season, you can tell everybody. The first season, those people didn't have any idea what the hell they were getting into. Second season, everybody knows. Everybody's jaded. Everybody's looking at everybody. Like, that's the fun of it for me. Like, somebody comes in and says hi, and they're like, oh, I think that motherfucker's plotting. He's plotting. I saw it. He said hi to me. I don't know what that means, but I'm keeping my eye on him. And you're like, whoa. Like, yeah. So there's a lot more of that good kind of Big Brother Survivor element to it now because people know the show. And I think that's fun. So I'm here. Schadenfreude culture. Nin Diego in the chat says Schadenfreude culture. I love that word. And, you know, I try not to, but there's some things I am going to Schadenfreude. This and, you know, good transition into my quick agenda. This and also back. I didn't make you guys do this, but yeah, Mormon Wives is also back. So if you want to trash, this is a trash weekend you can have. You can be down in Squid Game, hop on over to Mormon Wives.
There are two of those people on Dancing with the Stars right now, and I am just like, why?
Oh, geez, they really ran out of celebrities.
These are the TikTok trash reality
Dude,
stars,
I
man.
can't
Props to Robert
stand
Irwin.
No, I tried so hard. The Kardashians are back too.
I
That's
tried
trash.
so hard, and in the end,
Oh, we are watching, by the way, the Kim K All's Fair or whatever. We are totally watching that in this house. So,
ew, why?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just all get our. You know what? Let's get our trash TV talks out. You're watching
Harry Potter Baking Challenge on HBO. It is so good. It is a family watch, and not only that, there's a million baking shows. This is like elevated. These are very crazy bakes that they're doing. Boom.
Okay.
Holiday
Boom.
fun.
I'm watching also. My girl Carrie Russell's back. I love me some Carrie Russell. So The Diplomat is one of those shows that is just people talking about government stuff, but is somehow like one of my favorite shows on Netflix. Possibly just because Kerry Russell. So Diplomat's also back. And I think me and Evan can converge on this next one, which is I also started Last Samurai Standing, which came out of nowhere on Netflix. Of all the things I was seeing, Last Samurai Standing came out, and I started hearing buzz about it. So I was like, oh, because at first I thought like Blue-Eyed Samurai was somehow back already, and I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, Last Samurai Standing, and I thought it was a reality show, and then I just started it, and I was like, oh, this is very much not a reality show. So yeah, Last Samurai Standing's dope. I'm just through the first episode, but one hell of a pilot episode, I gotta say. And the premise is simple. After the age of the samurai kind of is ending, a bunch of the lingering samurai, Ronin assassins, people, bandits get invited for a tournament. It's at the time of cholera, I think, is the disease that's like tearing up Japan. And this samurai who was one of the best kind of samurai out there, but got traumatized in one of the last battles where guns and explosives became the new war technology. He signs up to help his family. And it turns out to be a tournament to the death, a battle royale, in a whole
literally
quest.
Squid Game set in ancient times.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's Squid Game. There's rich people up in the freaking rafters watching it. It's literally, which I'm not mad about it, but that is what it is. Like, we need to all just check ourselves. This is Squid Game. Like,
no, it's not. It's not quite Squid Game, because it is a kind of quest. It's basically like an ultimate samurai Mortal Kombat. It's more like if Mortal Kombat and Squid Game got combined into
it would be
one.
so cool if this was the origin story for Scorpion, because it seems like it is, because of the family situation. And I was like, the whole time I was like, oh my God, what if this is legit Scorpion's like origin story? And then the last episode is called Mortal Kombat. I haven't gotten to it yet.
That would be what a twist that would be. That would be awesome.
I was freaking out a little bit. But I love it, but it's totally Squid Game.
Yeah, there's actually, so there's a lot of foreign series on Netflix that are kind of sleepers. I'll say, like, if nobody's checked out Kingdom before, Kingdom's a great series that's about like feudal Japan, but what if a zombie apocalypse happens? And like that doesn't get a lot of play, but that's like a great one. I saw in the comments, Nin Diego asked whether or not it was better than Shogun. No, man. No, it's not going to be better than
Shogun.
It's not going to be better than Shogun.
Yeah, they're not
completely
the same.
Different. It takes place in that same kind of time period, but it's a completely different story. This is way more of like an action-packed.
This is like a live-action anime.
Yeah, that's exactly, Kofi. We're on the same wavelength for that one. I was about to say, like, yeah, this is more of like a live-action anime series. That's more like, just a big kick-ass tournament that's like, I would say, like, like I totally get like the Squid Game comparison. I think like one of the things that necessarily makes it a lot different from Squid Game is that these aren't just regular competitors. These are like bloodthirsty, like, everybody's joining this thing as kind of like, they know what they're doing. They're warriors. They've killed people and stuff like that. So that's like kind of the added. You have a lot of colorful.
They don't know that they're going into action, and people don't want to kill each other.
No, you're not completely wrong, because even though I'm only one episode in, it's obvious what the larger point of all this is, which is to an effective way to finally wipe out the last remnants of the samurai class. So there is this kind of class warfare element to it. So you're not off by saying it's Squid Game. I think it's a combination. Like I said, I think it's Squid Game and Mortal Kombat combined into
and a quest.
One. Or let's say for older video game heads, let's say Squid Game and Samurai Showdown is basically what this is.
Yeah, there you go.
And so the first episode does a great job of just showing you there are going to be certain characters, right? Like there's Knife Guy, there's archery, girl, there's
ghosty
crazy
dude.
Psycho guy with the bad teeth and the big blade that every anime always has.
Every anime has to have.
Gotaro or whatever it is. This guy's Gotaro. There's characters in this. There's elite swordsman from the noble class. There's the silent bodyguard with a scar face who can cut down anybody we don't know why. These are all familiar tropes, but it is a live action anime. But it is, for me, I can see this being that next import hit for Netflix. that comes out of the East. Yeah. So I thought it was a good, one hell of a pilot episode. Janelle, Squid Game comparisons aside, did you like it?
Oh, heck yeah. And my point is if I had never seen Squid Game, if that didn't exist and they just came out with this concept, holy smokes, I think people would be buzzing even more. Like I think this is spectacular. This is what I was saying this week. Like you stole the holiday cheer from me because of these awesome shows. Like everything is so intense and bloody and violent, and I just want to watch like Baking and Home Alone, but like I can't because these shows are so good. Like I can't wait to finish watching this. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to the action in this, like the stunt,
the
fighting. Like the Eastern Japan, Hong Kong, those production houses are still do these large scale, like we're putting everybody, a bunch of stunt actors in a yard, and we're gonna let them go crazy. Like, and so yeah, the big battle royale sequence in this is nuts. And so yeah, the action in this is pretty good. Matt, did you before we move on, do you see any of this?
I did not watch this one. No, I didn't get a chance.
Well, you should. Well, tell us about the happy-go-lucky thing you watch. You and Evan can cook on this next.
I will say, dipping real quick into recommendations of things that I feel like are sleepers. A Man on the Inside is actually fantastic. It's the new Ted Danson, Mike Schur project, and if you are a fan of any of my shows, you will find a lot of cast members make their way into this. It's fantastic. I'm a couple episodes in with Anissa. We're watching it together. Really great. Ted Danson is brilliant in this. So you can watch that if you want to be it's like a little bit of a thriller, but it's mostly a comedy and it's great. But I was watching Bat Fam, which is the new animated series. Look, Prime Video is killing it on the Batman front. I really dug Caped Crusader, and this is right up my alley. Merry Little Batman was the first kind of film feature that had Batman and Little Batman, Damian Wayne, and then Alfred, and kind of focused on them. And this blows that up to be, hey, what if Wayne Manor? What if we had like a Super Friends / Full House situation where Ra's al Ghul and Man Bat both lived there in the same place? Ra's al Ghul is Pap in this because he's also trying to lead Damian in his ways, but he lives with Batman and Alfred, and also a reformed supervillain and Claire, and you have that whole kind of brother-sister dynamic going on. Such a fun show. This is, I mean, straight up animated, over the top goodness. And I just love the vibe. It's supremely funny, and it's really about like the mixing all of these different personalities together, also with brilliant casting, because like Man Bat is played by like Bobby Moynihan, just doing completely weird stuff throughout the whole time. You get Alfred's niece jumping into the mix, and she's great. Like everyone has their full-on individual personalities, and just seeing them all constantly clash throughout the house, and also still at the end of the day, Batman still being a superhero and trying to teach Damian how to be that. It's just great time. Good stuff. So you can check out actually our full interview with the cast over on Comic Book Nation as well. But really dug this. This is fun. This is quality TV viewing for me.
I think that, like, so I didn't see A Merry Little Batman, that first Christmas special. That number one, this is a very, very, I cannot stress this enough, a very, very different show from Batman Caped Crusader, which is kind of the spiritual successor to Batman the Animated Series, but also very, very, very for adults. This is way more focused towards a younger audience, but still, like, I will say, this has a lot of deep DC cuts in it. There's that episode, I think it's either episode 2 or 3, but it's the one where they visit Wayne Enterprises and they just see like Damian is friends with Harvey Dent's daughters, who are twins, who are kind of, which is a fantastic pull. There's also there's an episode that I found so funny. I actually wrote an article about it on Comicbook.com, talking about the Mad Hatter's daughter, who is just the Sad Hatter. I love that so much. That was great.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Like the the ways that that got a laugh from Kobe. I love the ways that this is kind of like expanding on creating really weird, interesting takes on the DC universe while having like a lot of fun with it. Matt kind of mentioned the inclusion of Ra's al Ghul, but one thing I did want to add is that Ra's is dead. He's a ghost, which I don't know. Maybe Matt, you could tell me whether or not he died during Merry Little Batman. I don't know.
No,
but even
that was set up as
that's
a,
just something
as a
that they
thing
added.
coming.
But
Yeah,
even Claire, the addition of Claire. Claire is the supervillain Volcana, who apparently was turned into a little girl who is now a part of the Wayne family. Damian is not Robin in this. He's little Batman, which I thought was very funny. But like this is something that you can watch with your kids, or you can watch like for a younger audience, but it's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. In the age of Squid Game reality show competitions, Bat Fam brings in the lighter fare and like has a lot for like DC fans in general, because I'm having a lot of fun like looking at the Easter eggs that they have. It's very clear that whoever wrote this, whoever created this, is a big DC fan and knows a lot of their stuff about DC Comics and like the world, the DCU in general. So even if like if you're a DC head, like check this out. There's just a lot of fun and stuff in it. Like it gets the recommendation from me. A great addition to like the Batman animated universe.
some genuine twists too. Like there's actually some good twists throughout this series that you don't see coming, or that they tease really well, but you don't exactly see where they're going with it. So really, yeah, so surprising, very fun. Kofi, all you, buddy.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at memes of one battle after another. All right. That's it for Bat Fam. You can check that out on Amazon Prime Video. If you're listening on audio, Janelle Wheeler had to go. She had to go do mom stuff. Shout out to Janelle. We love having her on every week. Sorry, we always run long with our gift of gabbing. Let's talk about what's in the theatre. This week, there are a couple movies out this week. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not into the Now You See Me franchise. I catch that stuff on cable, so I'll see Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Even though I hear it's really good, I'm gonna wait till it's out. No, I mean that's what I heard. But I'll wait till it's on streaming. I didn't get to see Osgood Perkins' Keeper yet. I've heard some crazy weird things about it. So I feel like this is going to be more of an indie sleeper hit. So we're going to probably take our own time and go see that. But the big movie.
Really quick on Keeper stuff. I've heard it, like you said, it's gotten really mixed reviews. I think Osgood Perkins is the guy who made Long Legs and recently The Monkey. This one has been super mysterious in terms of its premise. It does have the star of She-Hulk as one of the stars of this, but I haven't had the chance to see it yet. But yeah, this kind of feels like one of those ones that's like, wait until it's not in theaters or what have you.
Yeah. Or at a matinee or something. I'm just going to take my own time on that. But shout out to Osgood Perkins. The big movie this week, though, is Edgar Wright coming back to theaters with a remake of The Running Man. So The Running Man is a Stephen King story that became a 1980s, one of the gems of Arnold Schwarzenegger's 1980s run as an action star. But the movie, like The Shining in so many other Stephen King projects, Lawnmower Man, the Running Man movie with Schwarzenegger was very much different than the story that King had written, and was very much reflective of the kind of 80s consumerism and the kind of growing, what we thought then was our bloodthirsty, spectacle-obsessed culture that looks so funny and tame by comparison today. But so it was all about, trash TV before trash TV was a big time $1 billion business. And we ended up in it anyway. So this Running Man is a little bit, I think, closer to, because I've never read the King story, but I think it's a little bit closer to what the nature of that story is, or at least the aesthetic. But I gotta say, while I like it, I like Edgar Wright and I like Glenn Powell, and there was some good parts of this movie, and it's generally like a popcorn fun movie. I just felt it wasn't as kitschy, weird, and as memorable as the Schwarzenegger Running Man.
Oh yeah.
Like that I enjoy so much more for its straightforward, almost just kind of Mortal Kombat-ish, like, hey, you're gonna go into this game show, you're gonna be fighting this person, and you got to survive type thing. This tried to do a little bit more of the wider society, socio-political kind of commentary, but it's just a very weird mix. I think I get why Glenn Powell didn't become like the next Tom Cruise. I get what kept him from doing that is he's a very kind of weird guy. He's like a blank slate, but then his actual personality is more. I think that's why he did good in that movie where he had to where he was the agent kind of what was that Netflix movie? I wish Janelle was still here. She loved that
yeah.
one.
Oh man, I know what you. The Hitman.
The Hitman, yeah, Isaac Gonzalez and him. That he was good because that was something that kind of catered to him as what he is, because he looks like he's a stud heartthrob, but he's really like a weird kind of quirky guy. When you get to know Glenn Powell, he's like a writer. He's very smart. He's like, yeah, like I said, I don't think he in his head is this stud hot, heartthrob leading man guy that, some other people might see him as, because he's always looked kind of uncomfortable with that with a Sydney Sweeney movie. And in here, it's him doing this Tom Cruise thing, but he's also very putting on this personality of this very acerbic, angry, like, I stick my middle finger up to the man every day kind of guy, but he's also like a family guy. He's a dad. So it's kind of a very weird, it's hard to get a beat on who this character is or like why we should be particularly rooting for him. If anything, it's more like the coolest person in the movie is Colbin Domingo, like as the show host. Yeah. And even he has a kind of heroic arc in this where he's semi-heroic, where he just by the end where he's doing his own thing, it's like, nah. But so it's kind of a weird guy to grasp onto. But in terms of like the sequences and the Edgar Wright of it all and the kinetic, all that stuff, like that was cool. And I have to say, and there's some weird kind of this is very much like a vignette feeling movie. Like it feels like it moves in these little stories where they bring in I think the most distracting is they bring in different kind of really talented actors at different points to like bounce off this guy. Cause like Amelia Jones from Task shows up in this and it's like has this very important pivotal role, but it's like at the very end of the movie and you're just like, what? And the third act of this is a mess. I'm sorry, but it was a mess.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that point, Kofi, because like I'm very much kind of on the same wavelength as you when it comes to Running Man. I think it totally falls apart there's a specific final third of the movie where it feels like the movie kind of falls apart in terms of its ending, and like I'm going to try to like dance around spoilers as much as possible, but like with that being said, I feel like this movie was afraid to pull the trigger on where it was trying to go with like its commentary and stuff like that. And that's kind of apparent in the final, scenes of this movie. I think that like I was on board for the first half, but then it reaches a point where it's just like, oh no, like Edgar Wright's kind of, sputtering with this. I think like Judon Foster in the comments gave it like a 7.5 out of 10. I'd probably agree with that. I'd probably give it like a 7, maybe. Ask me on a specific day. I might lean more towards a 6.5.
No, very solid 7 for me.
It's like there's Edgar Wright's. I would say it's one of Edgar Wright's weaker movies. I think that in a lot of his stuff, I mean, you're never going to beat like the Cornetto trilogy. He just like the Cornetto trilogy, for those who don't know, is Shaun of the Dead, World's End, and Hot Fuzz, which is like the 3 movies that had Edgar Wright and Simon or rather Simon
Nick
Pegg
Frost and
Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. And those had such distinct like visions and messages and like amazing directorial, style. And while Running Man does have some of that, ultimately the story just kind of falls apart at the end. I would be remiss if I also didn't say that this movie, shockingly enough to me, because much like Kofi, I didn't read the book originally. I loved the Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're never gonna beat Sub-Zero now. What is it? Plane Zero. That line is amazing. There's no line like that here in this, but this also does have a crazy big series of events that are callbacks to Stephen King's It that I was like, oh crap, like, yeah, because this is a Stephen King story, it does take place in that universe, and there are like connections to be made with Pennywise in this, and I was like, wow, really? Like, they're really gonna have that? And like, not okay. But yeah, like, ultimately this is one you can wait for on video. I think, like, Edgar Wright tries to do a lot here, but I think ultimately it just kind of falls flat, which is really a shame.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also very noticeable that this movie and The Long Walk are.
Oh yeah, go see The Long Walk. That's the best Stephen King movie.
But they're both
year.
they're both indicative of a point that right now Hollywood's at a point where it's too scared to make a statement. Like, we tiptoed up to these socio-political revolutionary statements, but then at the end, both of these movies kind of peter out for some
Running Man,
like
way
movies.
more so.
Yeah, way more so. I mean, Running Man's almost incoherent in the end, but they both peter out into these almost surrealist, like the reality breaks and it's like the surrealist ideal dream of the hero stepping in and fixing everything, or just being like, we're leading revolution. It's like, okay, but that's not real. And we're in real points. Like, people are looking for real stuff. Like, and so these movies can't quite take it there.
That's a great point, because like, I feel like Running Man's ending would have been better if it was ambiguous. And again, like, it's really tough to talk about this without going into spoilers, but there were certain decisions that were made when it came to Running Man where I was like, you didn't need to tell me that. Like, it could have been like, what happened to this person? What happened to, what happened to the protagonist? Like, those are things that could have been like, it's up to you how you interpret it. Whereas this goes in a very, okay, this happened to the protagonist and this happened.
Yeah, they take it really farther to give you like a Hollywood ending, whereas a more open-ended kind of letting it wonder kind of would have almost been more effective to just show like, hey, what can one person's example spark? Like, that's all we could have needed instead of taking it too far. But anyway, we're getting very specific. For a video thing that we're ultimately saying you can check this out on streaming. All right. Matt, what do we got in comics this week?
Well, so we're going to start with an Elseworld story that I thought was interesting, and it was funny. When I signed it, I hadn't read it yet. And then upon reading it, I went, oh, I don't know how Janelle's going to feel. How do I feel about this? Because I feel like, to get the most out of Batman Static Beyond #1, you are probably a fan of the Justice League Unlimited, the Once and Future thing, which is a part 1 and part 2 story from that series that brought together the JLU and Batman Beyond and all of that, and had fun with that world, and was excellent in that regard. And to like kind of feel like you get the most out of, if you loved that, you'll probably love this, because this brings together a lot of those characters into kind of this alternate future thing that kind of stands apart from everything. It's heady. It's got a lot going on with cosmic relationships and being grandfathered into things and the state of the world, all that big heady stuff. But that part I dug, in seeing these characters interact and things. So I was curious, and we got Janelle's response in the comments, which I thought was great. I wasn't super moved by it. I kind of like checked out while reading it, because it was such a departure from my current Batman read. Absolute was Janelle's take. I'm mixed on it as well. Kofi, what did you feel?
I was really hoping you were going to call on me last in this class. I'm going to be honest with you. I've struggled with the entire Batman Beyond brand. Even when I go back and watch the series, I feel like Batman Beyond is one of those things that I like love more in my head, in like imagination, than the actual content I've gotten from it. And so like, I think Static Beyond was a cool concept, but like ultimately it's hard for me to ever really engage and take this stuff kind of like ultra seriously, or ever elevate it as like my favorite of the Batman stories. I'm not a Terry kind of McGinnis stan like other people. So I thought this was all right. Like I said, I was kind of interested. For me, it was just the novelty of the Static Beyond part and just seeing, because that's what kind of Batman Beyond's become to me, to be honest. It's just like now it's become a backboard for how else do we expand and interpret kind of like people in this world. And so, yeah, Static Beyond was a cool concept, and the artwork was really good. Like the artwork kind of pretty a lot of it. Because if you got the pretty pictures to kind of put in there, like there is a lot of cool stuff. But a little bit wordy, a little bit too kind of heady, I think. Wordy. Yeah, a lot wordy, a little bit too heady. I'm looking through it again because I have to reread. There was so much this week. But yeah, I think they're acting like we're more invested into this world than we are. I think you got to pull me back in with a lot more kind of action and intrigue than the kind of headier concepts of this. But like I said, looked really good. Static Beyond and some of the other DC heroes that we get to see in these kind of future states are interesting, but the actual execution of the book wasn't it for me.
Yeah. Evan, did you have a chance to check this one out?
Yeah, I did. And yeah, hey man, I'm always a big proponent of like Static reappearing in anything in the DCU because I feel like that character should be way bigger than he is. I always have a soft spot for Batman Beyond. Like I'm kind of on that same wavelength as Kofi when it comes to, you know, I think that Terry, I'm more of a Terry McGinnis fan, I feel, but like I think that that series, the original animated series, really does have its ups and downs. It's kind of mixed. I'll always be a big fan of Batman Beyond because actually one of the first things I ever bought on the internet was a bootleg copy of Batman Beyond's Return of the Joker when it was
nice.
Because that original movie, for those who don't know, they released it censored. They had to completely remake the death of the Joker scene and the horror of what happened to Tim Drake in that movie.
Yeah, it was real intense.
It was intense. Like, I don't know.
And out of nowhere, because Batman Beyond was such like a kitschy, jokey thing. And then,
and Tim Drake breaking down, just tragic. But that movie should have been rated R. But anyway, like about this story, I think like it's fine. It kind of felt kind of boilerplatery. I totally get the idea of like Batman Beyond as just a vehicle to see cool futuristic versions of superheroes. Like, hey, even like the animated series did that. Like, hey, what's up with the Justice League? Like that twist with Superman having been Starro for decades. Still like, amazing twist in general. But like, yeah, it's solid enough, but like there's room to improve with this one.
100%. Let's move into something I hope anyway, fingers crossed, I hope Kofi's more excited about, which is the Predator Badlands prequel. This tees up right essentially, into the kind of opening parts of Predator Badlands, which I know you loved, and you are the Predator aliens expert here. Did this live up to expectations? You even got a forward from Dan Trachtenberg.
Again, I liked actually, this one I'm kind of like weirdly flipped on. I liked the story. It kind of deepened my understanding. I don't think this one was as crucial as what they did with the Alien Romulus tie-in, which was amazing to show you kind of what happened on Renaissance Station to kind of set all this bad stuff in motion. This one was more just kind of getting to know Deck and to show you just how smart and kind of intuitive and kind of adaptive Deck is, and kind of more of that stuff with him and his brother. But like, yeah, this was an entertaining tie-in because I think it does a good job of taking you out of Predator Badlands and helping to firmly more establish this character as a character in the franchise and as a like kind of protagonist. And to show you like a little bit more, because I'm trying to remember, because again, I read so much across these couple days. But yes, more of the Yautja stuff. They have like, and it's very comic booky. They give you the super armor, like all this stuff. So I think as a whole, I think 20th Century Studios and Marvel are doing some of the best work with tying multimedia franchises together, because it's not just because each of these films then gets a comic, right? And the comic actually matters to the actual film and deepening kind of the lore of the film. But you're also then on top of that, also then having the film properties get brought into the comics. So we get like Predator hunting Spider-Man or Aliens versus Avengers. And all of this stuff has actually been really good content. So I think I'm more enjoying the interplay between them. And this one was rough to show, just kind of ultimately show what kind of emotional abuse Deck had to face from his own family, even after he does a bunch of stuff, and how crazy Yautja culture really is. So I think it was the artwork. I wish the artwork was a little bit better in this one, less cartoony. I don't think the cartoony artwork matched the subject matter. I almost would have put the artist of Batman Beyond Static on this one, and then like had that kind of cleaner.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, more kind of cleaner, more life painting like artwork. But that was the only part that threw me, was the aesthetic, because it was very cartoony and comic bookish. And you know, Predator Badlands was very, as you can see from the cover of the comic, like very stripped down, kind of more muted color, like really gritty, grimy type stuff. But I dig Deck as a character, and this made me dig him even more.
Yeah. Not much. It wasn't a like you have to read this, right, to get
No.
them. I really like Badlands is going to be great no matter if you go read this book or not. But I do think it was cool to get extra context, and I dug it. But I agree with you. Compared to Batman Static Beyond, the artwork just wasn't as and there's big action sequences, and some of them look cool. Some of the moments look cool, but overall, like, there's just a pop that's kind of missing. Which, you know, the film is not missing that. So yeah, Evan, did you have a chance to check this one out?
Yeah, I did. And I think that ultimately, like, it's a decent enough story. I think that if you really want to learn more about Deck as a character, I think this works really well in that regard. But like, I'm with both of you on the art. I think this could have used kind of a more serious approach to it versus like, and I get the idea of like, you know, for the action scenes, I think the energy kind of works well, but then you have like the emotional, you know, and it's not that it's an easy task to show emotions with a Predator face. I think that that's kind of that's tough to do. And it was tough to do in Predator Badlands, but like this, if you dig this universe and you want to see more of like what Deck was up to and how bad his family life was, that kind of works. But like, if not, this isn't one that's like, I don't think this would work independently of Predator Badlands in and of itself. But like, yeah, that's if you're hungry for more of this universe, this is a good like comic book entry for it.
Yeah. All right. So awesome. You can also check out our full, by the way, if you
I cut out. Did you guys stop?
Oh no,
Matt's going.
Oh, sorry.
Talking. Yeah. New comics every single week on Wednesday. I post a rundown in our comic book forums of the new books coming out, highlighting the single issues as well as the trades. So if you can feel free to chime in there after you've read your books, after you picked up things, whether that's during the week or on the weekend. I highly recommend you jump in because it's always fun talking new comics, what you liked, what you didn't, and all that on the comic book forums every single Wednesday. So just definitely make sure to check that out. For the agenda this week, we're going to talk about something that we all love here and we check in on from time to time, which is Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals Season 5 kicks off. It's actually already started, but kicks off officially today. The first of 2 new heroes, Gambit, is now available. Rogue will be coming mid-season, and that will be, obviously we haven't seen like her power sets and things like that yet, but we have seen Gambits. We've done deep dives. I got a chance to play a little bit this morning before the show, just trying out the new abilities and things. It's having Gambit as a strategist is a huge win. I really hope Rogue is a Vanguard because that would be awesome to get 2 of those in one season. We don't need any more duelists at the moment. I'm good. So I love that we're getting that. Yeah, and also Gambit is also one of the more complex ability sets because he's the first. I was talking to Evan a little bit about this before the show began, but essentially he's the first character I believe, that has 2 pages worth of abilities. on his breakdown. So if you go to that first screen, you see all the abilities he can do, and then you go to the next screen and it breaks up his hearts and spades decks, because each of those has 2 abilities under that tree, and finding how they combo together, what the best way to mix and match all those are. He goes from healing to crowd control primarily, doing anti-buffs and the debuffs for some of the other opponents and things, and that can also heal his attacks, heal allies and also damage foes. So he does have offensive capability, obviously, but he is very much he's going to be really hard to deal with in the hands of someone who can kind of rein in all that versatility and can adapt in the moment to whatever is needed. He is going to be a problem once people really get a handle on him, which, knowing Marvel Rivals, will be like by the end of today. Someone will have a Lord icon and will have him already mastered, and there we go. But very excited for him. Also, they did show off the Battle Pass, and the Battle Pass, if you are a fan of like those classic comic costumes, boy, this Battle Pass is for you, because like, my word, we got like retro Guardians of the Galaxy Groot, we have first appearance Black Widow, we have Frankenstein Punisher. They really
excuse me, Matt, that deserves its full name of Frankencastle.
They don't name it Frankencastle in here though, which was a miss. Why did they not name it? No, it's not called Frankencastle, but it's awesome. Yes, and it should have been. It's fantastic. So yes, it's a really cool. We even get blue, like ice blue thing, which is crazy, and I kind of want it now. And on the Gambit front,
that's actually a What If reference. The original,
yeah, it's pulled from What If. Speaking of What If, Ultron is also from What If, though he's from the show, and you get full on like Infinity Stone powered Ultron if you are doing that. They really did a good job, I think, this season. And then we get random Wolf, Angela, and Pirate Namor, which is
and also Adam Warlock the Magus.
Yes, that's a great one. It's a great pull. And also on Magus. Yeah, he looks great too. It's one of the better skins they did. And on the Gambit front, by the way, they do the costume that's available today is like a full, like if you want Assassin's Creed Gambit, go grab that, which I will be grabbing later today. And then for all of us Magneto players who have been bummed since they removed the Scarlet Witch team up because they took one of like the coolest moves from our arsenal, fear not, Gambit restores a version of this with his new team up, which actually allows us to throw the sword at a distance and then have it explode on impact. For all of us Magneto players who have been mourning that loss, I hope this makes things a little bit better. Yeah. So how are you guys feeling about the season? Are you jumping back in? I know some of us never left. But are you jumping back in?
I never left. I'm gonna master this strategist. I'm interested to see what Rogue is and kind of what that's all about. But Gambit is more complex than I thought. So I thought they were just gonna throw another duelist out there, and I was like, oh boy. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting to see what people do with this. But that Remy Lebeau can't ever count him out. You don't know him.
I'm super number one, kudos to the three of us for coming into work today and not just playing Marvel Rivals new season.
Yeah, no.
I'm excited after looking. I like the complexity of how Gambit works. For the most part, I'm very much either a Vanguard or a strategist player. I think I'm very much I've mentioned it in past episodes, but I usually gravitate towards Thing and Emma. On the strategist side, I'll usually go Cloak and Dagger, Sue Storm, and then if I have to pick a DPS, it's usually Mr. Fantastic or I have the Maker skin for Mr. Fantastic, and that's just the only thing he's ever. Yeah, that's I really lean into a lot of the comic book skins and everything, but. In the trailer, one thing of note is that it introduces Cyclops as well, and a lot of people are thinking that maybe this 5th season has a stealth character. I think that if you were to bring, I was actually talking with a buddy of mine who was like, "Well, how does Gambit work as a healer? Like his powers aren't really healing." And it's like, well, none of the characters are technical. Like the Invisible Woman, she can't heal in the comics.
Yeah.
And like Mantis can't, Mantis can you can make the argument, but like Cloak and Dagger, they can't.
Yeah,
their
Jeff the
powers
Shark
aren't
doesn't just
healing.
shoot healing water at people. Like it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I think, like with Cyclops, I expect that his powers, he's going to be, if I had to put money on it, I would say he's going to be a strategist and his powers will work kind of similarly to Jeff's, where his optic blast will kind of like shoot out like Jeff's Jeff's thing. And I could see him like kind of having similar, where you're bouncing the beams off like the geometry of the map. So it would kind of be like a combination of Jeff and Squirrel Girl, where it's like bouncing off everything while healing at the same time. I think that would be kind of cool.
I think Cyclops, they haven't put another one in a long time. I think he'll be a sniper.
I think that would work.
We need another one.
You need
different
another
kind of
one.
beams,
You need a
different kind of.
one.
You can scope through his visor, different kind of beams, different kind of angles. Like, and you'll be I almost cursed. You'll be a nut sniper because he can pull off like impossible shots, right? Like
ricochets.
Ricochets, exactly. And like you could see
works.
that through the visor. You could see that through the visor and just like boop, 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 and then just like nail somebody around a corner and be like Cyclops. Like,
Look, you can come at me, but he's the best X-Man. So
and then
we'll agree to disagree on.
He could shoot down into the ground and launch himself into the air. Okay. Yeah, launch himself into the air.
And put some respect on that Bendis uncanny run. You guys, bunch of slander. I've seen a bunch of Bendis slander also over the past like week or whatever. Cool it.
The ultimate all right guy.
You just relax. All right. Anyway, so that's Marvel Rivals. Real quick, because I want to. I know we got bounce. I want to get to Disney Lorcana for us Disney fans. Just released their new Whispers in the Well set. It is out today as well. This is I adore Disney Lorcana, and one of the reasons why is the just beautiful artwork that we get. This one deals with like glimmers, which are kind of these almost like little ghostly apparitions, and we get a lot of that in the set. We also get gargoyles making their full debut in Disney Lorcana's card game, and the artwork is awesome, but also the abilities and the way they shake up the decks are fantastic. I just love seeing gargoyles in the mix with like a Goofy movie, and Robin Hood and Zootopia is a big factor in this set as well. So like the mix and matching of characters and abilities is awesome. The starter decks themselves, I have had extensive time with both of them, and this is again, Reign of Jafar recently had some of my favorite starter decks right out of the gate, but this Whispers in the Well just came out swinging. There's that whole, and you see it in some of the cards here for those who are watching the live show. There's a boost mechanic that essentially lets you pay resources to put cards face down under other cards, and that opens up new abilities for each of those. And once you get several of those on the field, they start interacting in really cool ways, both to negatively affect the opponent as well as to boost your own crew. Yes, also the Headless Horseman, Ichabod Crane's in this set. There's a couple of that whole side of Disney that makes their debuts here. And so there's just a lot of versatility and flexibility in both starter sets. One set kind of actually penalizes the other player a lot of times, but it also helps them because it puts something in their inkwell, which means you get more resources, but then your card comes off the board. So like it screws you over, but it helps you in a way as well. So there's a lot of give and take in the set. The locations are great and open up other options. So really digging Whispers in the Well. I will have more coverage as I get more playtime with it. But I'm really enjoying this set. And for a Gargoyles fan, you will want to get some of those epics and enchanted versions. They are just stunning in person. And one thing I wanted to do, talking about stunning in person, and this was just a little thing that I recently got sent, and I just wanted to give a shout out to because I wasn't expecting it. Another TCG that has recently released is the League of Legends Riftbound, which is a TCG based all around that set. I've really enjoyed my time with the game, getting to play it a bit at Gen Con and getting to mess with the Origins decks. The game is now out in the wild. It is now released. And the wonderful people at, I want to make sure I get the name right, Elderwood Academy and UVS Games sent me an awesome set that it's called a spell book. And it actually man, it has my name on it. It's like
Oh, that's cool.
personalized. And then once you actually open the spell book, it has the decks themselves. And then not only that, but there's also like booster packs behind each one. And it was just like, it's just a really cool thing I was not expecting. Personalized stuff is awesome. Some of my favorite comic book. I've had the pleasure, the blessing of getting several quotes on comic book trades and covers. And some of my favorites are the ones that actually have my name. That's just surreal to me and will never get old. So having something like that come in when I wasn't expecting it, really cool. Wanted to give Elderwood Academy and UVS Games a shout out for that. Also, I really like the game. It's fun. I'm in a TCG bliss right now between like Star Wars Unlimited also happening, getting back into Magic, oh my God, the Avatar set just dropping on Magic the Gathering. It's a great time for TCG players, but Riftbound, really cool, doing some really cool stuff with that world. So definitely check it out. That is my agenda.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Evan, for hanging around. We can wrap it up here. We have done the thing. Go check out some movies. Go watch some good shows. Read some comics. Play some tabletop. Do everything your fandom enjoys. Grab some anime. We love it all here on Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture, not just our favorite things. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for waking up with us as always. Everybody over on YouTube. Do we still have people on Twitch? I don't know. Twitch, you guys still out there? Twitch, shout out to Twitch. Oh yeah, we got Rich on Twitch. Rich on Twitch. Shout out to everybody on the YouTube. We are on the Comicbook.com YouTube. Thanks again to Global Comics, our sponsor. Go check out some comics on Global Comics and get your gold membership started today. We are the Comic Book Nation crew, and we got work to do on Comicbook.com, where you can find all of our written content, features, thoughts, and reviews. Matt, Evan, see you guys out there. Audience, we are Comic Book Nation. We out. Peace.
Deuces.
Yeah.